Hi guys, welcome back to another video. In today's video, I'm going to add more food to Minecraft. So I've got these 3 double chests here. This one over here is every food in Minecraft. You probably know all these. There's 40 of them. These 2 double chests have all the food that I added into the game. There's a quick glance, and there's a few more here. But that's 61 as you saw there. So first off, there's a download link in the description. This mod is on Modrinth and CurseForward, which are both Minecraft mod websites. And next I'm going to show how you can actually craft every single item and what they do and stuff like that. So moving on to that. Okay, and here we are. So we're in a kitchen because it's a food mod. These things I definitely looked up how to build. I did not come up with that. Anyway, let's press this button to start the video. So the first item does not actually have a recipe, and it's used in a lot of recipes in this mod though. It's cocoa butter. So as you can see, there's a chance that you'll get it. So I only got it 2 times. I don't actually know what the maximum you can get is, because I made it a while ago, so I don't know. Okay, so moving on, we have this, so see if you can guess what it is before I put it all in. So this was actually the first item I made in the mod, and this whole mod I made simply because I wanted to add chocolate to Minecraft. Then it evolved into me making like 10,000 different things. Oh, and I completely forgot, there are different sections. We're on the sweet food section, and the first item is a chocolate bar. So moving on, this isn't really a sweet item, or sweet food, but we do need it for the next recipe. And yeah, it crafts 3 milk, so you see you put 3 bottles and a milk bucket, and you have 3 milk bottles. Okay, so I just randomly decided to add this during editing. So basically, I'm just going to explain my logic. If you get a cauldron, you put a water bucket into the cauldron, then you get some bottles, some glass bottles, specifically 3 of them. You get 3 different things, except I only got 1 since I'm creative, so I should probably try and demonstrate that again, but in survival. As you can see, we get 3 water bottles. Therefore, assuming that a water bucket and a milk bucket contain the same amount of liquid, you should get 3 milk bottles from a milk bucket. So if you didn't understand my logic, now you do. And they don't actually stack, as you can see. But this next one, I don't know if you are noticing this, but it kind of looks a bit familiar. Because if I put everything in, this kind of looks like a cake, but smaller. And that's because it's cupcake. Okay, so next recipe. An egg, sugar, cocoa butter, wheat, and milk will make an ice cream cone. So then what could possibly be next but adding some nuts bricks? Adding some milk, sugar, and egg to make plain ice cream. So if you ever wondered what plain ice cream tastes like milk. But there is more. You can actually craft it with any of these items. So I grab these, and I'll grab some more of this as well. So we can have chocolate ice cream, sweet berry ice cream, glowberry ice cream, golden apple ice cream, and finally enchanted golden apple ice cream. And these items will actually give you the effects of what the golden apple and enchanted golden apple will give you. So, as you can see, the enchanted one gives me fire resistance, normal resistance, absorption, and regeneration, which is just like an enchanted golden apple. So, moving on, we have a very similar recipe, just with 1 more sugar. So if we put all this in, just add 1 extra, we get a donut. And now we can make, with all this stuff, icing, which kind of just looks like milk again, but it is different. And then of course, just like before, we can get all of these and make different flavors of icing. But we're gonna want to put an empty bucket in instead of having a whole milk bucket in there, because that just makes more sense. So if we, I need more buckets. So as you can see, putting everything in, we have glow, berry icing, golden apple icing, and of course enchanted golden apple icing. And then we can ice our donuts. So as you can see, depending on the icing we put in, it'll give us a different donut. And of course we just have all of the donuts here, of all the different same flavors. Okay, moving on. We can craft with stripped wood. Any stripped wood will work, except for stripped bamboo, which I am going to fix in a later update, but I completely forgot about it when I updated the mod to 1.20, but it does work with cherry wood, so I'm going to grab a few, and it works with the stripped logs and the stripped wood, which the wood doesn't have like the log top, so I can just grab a bunch, and I'll show you that it doesn't work with bamboo. So like, that works, you get ice block sticks. This works. That's a whole lot of ice block sticks. Okay, I got rid of all of them. There you go, I'll just do one, and it gives you 16, which is a bit of a rip-off, and then if I do strip bamboo, it doesn't work, and I am going to fix that later, but not right now. Okay, so moving on, we can craft, of course, you'll never guess, it's ice blocks. So of course, again, just like the other two, we can use any of these items. If I just put these in, of course, chocolate, sweet berry, glow berry, golden apple, and of course, enchanted golden apple. And of course, these two will give you the respective potion effects. So that's like a normal golden apple, and just like an enchanted golden apple, which is same for the donuts, which I forgot to show. So moving on, we're out of all the different flavored stuff. If we get a flint and steel, a water bottle, and sugar, we'll craft us some sugar water. And it also completely eats the flint and steel, but I can't fix that, so I'll probably just have to change that later. And one small detail that I didn't mean to add, it was a side effect, it works with any potion. So you see the strength potion that I worked very hard on making, it's become water, sugar water, and they don't stack. Just like how regular water bottles don't stack. And now, this does not mean I'm going to put a campfire into the recipe. This means I'm going to cook it. And it actually takes twice as long as any other item, because when I googled it, it said it would take twice as long. So I'm going to probably speed this up since it takes like 10 years. So I'll see you when it's done. And it's done, a toffee in a bottle. So I did a bit of quick googling, and a normal item cooked in a furnace should take about 10 seconds, which means this takes 20 seconds, which is just a big waste of time. Anyway, moving on, we're going to craft an apple on a stick. Now you might see where this is going, which is that we're gonna make a toffee apple. Okay, next recipe. We're gonna grab a stick, sugar, and sweet berries, which crafts some fairy floss, which you actually hold like you would hold a tool. As you can see, you hold the tool like that, just like how you hold this. one thing that I'm probably also going to fix is that the apple on a stick and toffee apple aren't held like that. So that probably will be fixed in another bug fix update thing. Okay, so moving on, we're gonna cook some sweet berries. Luckily, it doesn't take 20 seconds, it only takes 10 before we get our cooked sweet berries. Now we're gonna craft something that's definitely not edible. It's a knife. This is not in the sweet food section, it's in tools, but not that tools. Actually, there's not even a tools tab anymore, it's called tools and utilities. Oh, and speaking of the tabs, they're all on this other page here. So you might be wondering why I have a knife. Well, that's because with the cooked sweet berries and a bit of sugar, we can craft sweet berry paste. And it only damages the knife, it doesn't eat it. And also I accidentally made it so that the knife does the same amount of attack damage as a diamond sword, but it is a bit slower. As you can see, the attack speed here is 1, but here it's 1.6. And one more thing about the sweet berry paste is that you can actually trade it with villagers. If I actually grab some emeralds, as you can see, I can trade as much sweet berry paste as I want. Okay, now moving on, we have an apple, an egg, and sugar. This kind of looks like another recipe, because it is like another recipe, except it's an apple pie. And it's in the same sort of format that I think they show when making pumpkin pie. I don't know, I'm probably wrong. But there's the apple pie. I feel like this is probably one of my worst textures that I made. So maybe I can try to make it better. But I don't know if that's going to happen. Moving on, we need 3 sweet berries, 2 sugar, and 1 honey. And you might be wondering why it's in that weird shape. That's because it's gummy bears, it's the shape of a bear. But wait, there's more gummies. This time, it's gummy worms. But wait, there's more. We can make sour gummy worms if we just put them in. We can take them all, and they're interchangeable. Because I didn't know how to make like stuff sour in Minecraft, because there's not really any sour things in Minecraft. But anyway, moving on, we're running out of inventory space, so hopefully this section is over soon. Well, we have this. This is a recipe you probably won't be able to guess, and also a recipe that I probably won't be able to get first try. I think, even though I just saw it, I'm probably gonna get this the wrong way round. Yep. Let's just, no, that's not what I tried. There, it's waffles. I know waffles aren't really sweet, but I didn't know where else to put it, so I just put it here, because normally we'd eat it with like syrup, and that's sweet, so, yep. Moving on, this isn't a recipe, this is actually just birch leaves. I go into survival mode, close it down and break it, I get cherries. And there's only a chance, you can get 2 as well, and they're much better than apple drops. Okay, and we're out of the sweet section, and into the meat section, which means I can clear my inventory. Anyway, we do still need our knife, however, and if we grab any of this meat, we can craft sausages of all of the different flavors. And then, of course, if we grab some bread, we can put them in a bun, and now it's a hot dog. So I'm just gonna craft half of them. So now I have some sausages and some hot dogs. Okay, and next, if we chop up some pork chop and steak at the same time, I did not need to grab another knife, I have enough. We get pepperoni. And then we can craft this. If you can guess what this is, then you win absolutely nothing. that is bricks. You do not put bricks in your, I can't say what it is yet, you have to guess. So if we put baked potatoes up the top, carrot and carrot, sweet berry paste, and then I think it's like this, we get shepherd's pie. So if you didn't get it and you're American, don't feel too bad. And I mean, if you didn't get it at all, don't feel too bad, because like, I don't know how you'd guess this based off the recipe. Next thing we can make does not seem like a meat, and that's because it actually isn't, but you need it in the next recipe. It is pastry. Okay, so you might be wondering, what do you use pastry to craft? Well, it's simple. With some bread and any meat. I don't want to show all of them, but it does work for all of them. I'll just show these two off. We put some there, put some there, put some there, and then finally this, we can get sausage rolls, and it works with any meat, even though this one was crafted with fish, and fish sausages aren't in the mod. They're all also the same item. Okay, so now, if we chop up some raw pork chop, different from chopping up cooked pork chop, we get raw bacon. I also now have 2 knives, but we can now dual wield them. Yep. Anyway, of course, I bet you never expected this, but if we cook our bacon, we get cooked bacon, except it's just called bacon. And there is a difference in the texture, it's just kind of hard to tell, unless you like look at it close enough. As you can see, the bacon is a bit darker. So moving on, we're gonna craft this thing. You might be wondering, what is this thing and why is there so many different types of wood? Well, there's so many different types of wood because it works with anything. So what we can make is a plate, and you need to add the pressure plate because otherwise it would make a slab if you used all of the same wood, because it does just work with any wood. Like you can, like, I can make a fully cherry plate. As you can see, it makes slabs, but then you just add a pressure plate and never mind, I've scammed myself. Clearly the cherry plus pressure plates don't work. That's a thing I have to fix. Moving on, if we get an egg, a bacon, and a brand new plate that we have, we can make bacon and eggs, which means that you can actually eat eggs now, which also means that you're eating raw egg because you never cooked that. Oh well, have fun getting salmonella. Moving on, if we just chop up some steak, 2 steak, we get meatballs. I also keep grabbing more knives, I don't need them all. And now we are moving out of the meat section onto the other food section, which is just food that I didn't know where to put. 2 bread makes a baguette. And yeah, it is a bigger item model, which actually took a very long time for me to figure out how to do. And as you can see, it actually goes over 2 inventory slots. It doesn't fully cover another slot though, so you're fine. If you put it in the item frame, it kind of extends off it. But yeah, we got our baguette. Moving on, there's no recipe, but there is a villager. And that's because you can trade for some rice. So I need to get some emeralds to do that. And you can trade for as much rice and it stacks, unlike the sweet berry paste. Moving on. If we get some dried kelp and some raw salmon, it does have to be raw, by the way. You can probably guess what this is. It's sushi, but it's actually called tamaki, because that's the actual name of this type of sushi. Moving on, we can cook some rice to get cooked rice. And I'm going to cook 2 because it is important for later, you'll see. As you can see, we have our cooked rice. Moving on, If we add to that cooked rice egg, kelp, carrot, and beetroot, and of course another egg, we get fried rice. Moving on, if we cook some milk, we get cheese bucket. And then if we move on, as you can see, putting the cheese bucket in here will give you some cheese. One thing that I do want to show off is that if you eat the cheese or drink it, I'm pretty sure something would happen, but maybe I removed it, so never mind. Next, using that cheese and some pepperoni from earlier, we can craft, believe it or not, it's pepperoni pizza. And it's just called pizza. This is the only type of pizza. And as you can see, you've got the classic pizza pixel art with the dripping bits. Yeah, I looked at a bunch of inspiration. It also crafts 8 slices, so you have a full pizza. And if you don't, and if you cut your pizza into less or more than 8 slices, then what are you doing? Moving on, if we grab some bread and cut it, for once I didn't grab the other knife, we get some sliced bread. And then if we add cheese to the sliced bread, we get grilled cheese, despite the fact that it was never grilled. Moving on, if we put potato in a bowl, we get mashed potato. But if we put potato in a bowl and cut it, we get crisps, which isn't very American. They probably call it chips. And by probably, I mean they do. Moving on, if we grab carrot, cheese, egg, and pork chop, we can make, that's wrong, we can make an omelette. Fun fact, at one point in the mod, it was spelled like that, because I forgot how to spell omelette. But then I fixed it, so now it's omelette. Moving on, if we grab some wheat and a plate, we can then put it like this and make spaghetti. Of course, if you're going to make spaghetti, we can add some meatballs and sweet berry paste, because sweet berry paste was basically my replacement for tomatoes. It makes spaghetti bolognese. And then if we cut up some fish, add some potato, and get a plate, and it also works with either cooked fish, we actually have to craft it in a specific way, we get fish and chips. And of course it works with salmon as well. Next up, if we grab some wheat, craft it like this, we get a taco shell. And by a taco shell, I mean 4 taco shells. And then, if we grab some carrot, some steak, some cheese, and the taco shell, I'm actually going to do 2 of them. We can make a taco. I can make 2 because I made 2. I can make 2 because I used 2 of the things. And that is the last recipe. As you can see, the sign has changed to say finish video. So anyway, that's all the food that I've added. That was interesting seeing that. I just saw through the world. So as you can see, here is all the food that I showed off. And of course the tool, which is a knife, and misc, which is ice block stick and plate. So I hope you all enjoyed this video. I'm going to make a sequel where I actually show the process of me adding more food. So if anyone wants to suggest food, then put it in the comments and I might add it. Anyway, remember, the mod link is in the description. On Modrons, you can also follow mods, which I think that means you'll get updates for when I update the mod. So, maybe do that if you plan on playing it when I update it. But I hope you all enjoyed this video, and I hope if you play the mod, you enjoy it. But without further ado, bye!